And I just, okay, Nick, you want to lean in a little bit?
Testing. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Getting close to Laine here, right up in her.
Got a lot better.
It's chilly on the Charles.
Oh, God, it is, isn't it? It's like you stand out here and you get wet and it's chilling down.
Yes.
But listen, thank you for coming, Laine and Nick Karwoski. Laine Mar.
Used
Karwoski.
to be. Yes.
Yeah, and you are known to me through Hydrow, but you are both with Tagalong right now, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Is that your company, Nick? Or?
Yeah, I started Tagalong back in 2017. I was kind of in that transition period of figuring out what the plan was post triathlon, competing professionally on the ITU circuit. And there were a lot of people who were asking me for like training advice. How would they break down this plan? What would they want to do? Some of them even asked me to like pace them through certain run workouts or bike workouts or swim workouts. And so I kind of was like, this is cool. This would be great for a lot of other professional, trying to make a living athletes in endurance sports to be able to be directly connected to people who want next level kind of coaching, but a training partner, a friend to take them through, someone to pace them through. And so I just started reaching out to all the different people that I train with, my brother through rowing and otherwise. And
Alex.
Yeah, Alex Karwoski. And so we started getting way more rowers, cyclists, marathon runners, track and field, triathlon. And then it just kind of became this, we can connect pro athletes directly to people who are looking to improve for their upcoming race or weekend warriors, whatever that is that they take their training seriously or just kind of want some guidance. It has morphed over the years since then to just accountability, decision fatigue. Like, you come home from a long day of work and you're like, the last thing I want is to like,
I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. So that was Tagalong in a nutshell. And then Hydrow came around in 2018 and we got to travel to a variety of different places as the model was very much find a new body of water, explore this live outdoor reality component, but also talk about the history of this place. And so being able to tell stories about the place, being able to share our experiences about, what Laine and I were doing or what James or whoever, other, Keel, Mike, Sarah, Mac, Danny, all these other Hydrow athletes talking about what we were doing, karaoke night, all while filming workouts to be able to share with all these people. It was just kind of a cool dual company thing to be able to do at the same time. And then met my ultimate wife through it and traveled the world. I'm
just melting seeing the two of you together. I knew Nick from Hydrow when they first started because I got the Kickstarter.
That's right, on Indiegogo.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. And then I have to say, when I sit down at the Hydrow, I've never interrupted a workout.
There we go.
See, that's what it's all about. I don't have any you keep the focus. There's good coaching. So thank you for that.
Oh,
absolutely.
And it gets me through the winter. And so I met you at CRI where you Hydrow started.
I think we're still out of CRI. For the first couple years, 2 or 3 years, we did CRI for like May through Florida. October, and then Miami Beach. And then after the first 2 or 3 years,
it was after the first 2 years. We did 6 months Boston, 6 months Miami, because in the winter we had to go somewhere warm. But then we realized we really wanted to explore more locations. So we started narrowing down the time we spent in Miami and started traveling to places like Newport Beach, California, Texas, Australia, Japan. Like we really tried to broaden the horizon of where we were going and what we were bringing our members to.
And do you have a role at Hydrow other than athlete, or do you Nick? I know Nick does locations.
I was producing all the destinations, and
you did a great job.
Oh, thank you. It was definitely
fabulous.
a team effort. Definitely a team effort.
Japan.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild. Andrea,
Alaska
was
it hard?
Very hard.
We went from Boston to Seattle, drove to up to British Columbia, Vancouver, where the Canadian national team trains out of, picked up the double, drove to Tacoma, bubble wrapped it up, put it in the shipping container, shipped it up to Anchorage. We went back a couple weeks later. We flew out there, hoped and prayed that it would be A, intact, and B, rowable.
Yeah.
And it was great. Carlisle shipping was awesome. 400.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They don't even know who we are.
Yeah.
I just remember it so distinctly. And we had to ship the rack that we would build to go on the truck so we could drive from Anchorage to Whittier to Seward to all these different places. And
every day we spent about 8 to 10 hours on a big charter
landing
boat
craft. Yeah.
because we'd just try and find flat water. And majority of the time we weren't finding flat water or rowable water. So we weren't able to get workouts that were like 30, 45 minutes, but we would have 10 minutes of just like a graceful period.
Yeah.
And then to make it look like you're like having,
it was fun.
I'm sure you were having fun.
Laine had a 10-minute with Mike rowing next to a whale.
Yeah.
And
I saw that.
It was
that,
crazy.
like, you can't plan that. You
No.
can't do any of that. So it was very much like, okay, put the boat in now. It's right here. Like, this is as close as we can get. Let's go, Laine. You good to
And
go?
I'm like, what's like plan B if like the whale gets too close? We also look like a seal. Yeah, I was like kind of nervous.
What do you do when it rises? It's like the manatees in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the birdie bites were pretty cool because you're just
icebergs.
dodging and weaving all these little icebergs. And you're like, that could seriously damage the boat as well.
The water got thicker the closer you got to
Did
the.
it buoyancy?
It's called. I don't forget what it's called, but
It starts with an S.
the stuff from the glaciers that falls off into it is salty, so it gets way more saltier the closer you get
And
to
you
it.
can't see
So the
through.
water gets like denser, thicker, more viscous, or whatever the term is. But to answer your question, and Laine early on did like this good to great project where they were basically interviewing all you.
Yeah, no, I was actually cold calling members, but as a different name. I was like, yes, this is Jennifer. Like, I really want to know, like, what you love. I know. I was like, what do you love about Hydrow? And like, we came to realize there's just, everybody has a different style, what they like, whether they focus on the music, the ultimate scenery, the athlete, whatever it is. So that was really fun to find out, but we wanted to look at what each athlete's strengths were. So I was kind of organizing little graphs for each of the athletes. I'm looking to be more involved in the sales now. So there's always something at Hydrow that you can be involved in outside of the athlete role, which is exciting for sure.
Well, Bruce was director at Community Rowing.
Yes.
Where we are now. Thank you, Community Rowing.
Thank you, CRI. Thank you.
We got our tags.
Yes, appreciate it.
Is it true? I have a question. Is it true that CRI is the busiest boathouse in the world during the summer months? Like,
I think so.
It has the most people in and out.
They say it's the biggest, but you know how you quantify that?
Most boats stored.
I was so impressed when I walked. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, 'cause in high school, I rowed out of Detroit Boat Club, and that was just like, totally decrepit.
Michigander.
Yeah, total Michigander. And you would race against CRI, and you're like, oh gosh, like these guys, like they've got 8 boats of just a freshman.
I know. I don't know how it. I know it functions, but it's like it's so massive. Yeah. But you can find your own community.
Absolutely.
Did you find rowing as an adult, or did you row young? You did.
56.
You did.
56.
Wow.
Incredible.
Or 11 years.
I feel like I've heard that far more often from adults now. Of I started rowing as an adult, which I definitely like. When I rowed a little bit in high school, it was more like my son or my daughter rows, and that at least the world that I was in. But now it's becoming a bit more mainstream, not only as an exercise, but as this community element, obviously that CRI very much leans into. But
we
it's cool.
love our community. I mean, I'm with the sculling communities, mostly single, but I do doubles and quads. Quads rule.
Yeah.
It's a unique sport, right? What other sport are you doing where you and your teammates have to do the exact same thing, same time, like millimeters make a difference?
And the quad,
it's beautiful.
Improves my single, So
I
sub into a quad regularly. But
be a little more risky in the quad and then put things together to take it to the single.
And they yell at you for rushing the.
I know.
But no, they don't yell. but my favorite story from the head of the Charles this year is my 79-year-old friend is racing this year for the first time.
Wow.
The first time.
First time. She's rode for 30 years. She was at the old boathouse at CRI, and now she's in the...
Incredible.
Yeah.
So she raced yesterday?
Yeah.
How'd she
And
do?
what'd she think?
She did. I haven't talked to her yet, but, I texted her. I said, I saw you,
Yeah.
I took some video of her coming through, and she's so perky and fit and bright, and that's the kind of thing that keeps me coming.
And I think that's the best part about the head of Charles, right? You see anywhere from high schoolers to seniors racing, and it's such a cool event to support people of all ages from wherever.
Do you
And
have any desire to row or race at the head of the Charles?
I've raced since high school. I've raced when there's been snow, when there was a seal caught in the basin.
Right.
Yeah. I've done alumni races, collegiate races. Right now, I'm taking a little bit of a break from rowing because it's my job, it's my life.
I was wondering how that works.
Yeah. So I like events more like 5Ks, or I would love to get into triathlons.
Laine has transitioned to like running, Pilates, a lot more like body weight strength stuff.
Sure.
I gotta keep variety.
Great for me because it forces me to do some of that stuff too. But racing, I feel like you typically then a couple weeks of chiropractic visits, and
I'm hurting big time after those hydro races.
You switched. Laine switched from being a starboard to a port. College.
I actually had a pretty severe injury in college, so I'd rowed for 10 years as a port, and they changed me to a starboard on my last training trip. In Cocoa Beach, Florida. So I did 6 hours a day on starboard, which is like writing with my left hand for me. So I got so messed up and I couldn't go to nationals. I didn't really race much. I was in a lot of pain. And
that's a common story, when you're pushing so much on the train.
And you're just so blinded. Like when you're in college, all I wanted to do was row. I didn't care about anything else. But now I'm like, I'm 30 and I have to be very careful of what I do because it matters. And
rowing is important, but it's not.
Yes. It's not. Yeah. You have to complement rowing with other activities and vice versa. So we're good at that with each other.
And I love it because I can go down the river, do my own pace.
Yep.
Take a picture of the blue heron on the side of it.
Pause. Take a little breather.
Do a power 20.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've raced the head of the Charles twice.
Fantastic.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I did it in a single, I did it in an 8.
Yeah.
And the 8's obviously easier from a steering perspective. So that's literally someone's job.
Someone else's job.
But the single, for me, having always done
I saw you
running,
28,
19, I think.
Yeah.
I loved it. I think I came in 7th in the club champ or something. I was okay with it. It was my first ever single race. But the amount of, you don't know where you are, like place wise, you have to look at the bows. You got to steer, like that whole thing. I was like, I think I'm going to stick with running, swimming, biking, all these sports that you look and go in the direction that you're going in.
It's ridiculous.
And I got the whole monocular vision thing, so it's like even more turning. So
my theory is if you row backwards long enough, you'll get younger.
Yeah, there we go. I like
forcing
that.
you to, little Benjamin Button style.
So to get back to Tagalong, I'm wondering how you balance the sports. I mean, like, do you just take what comes along, or
a lot of
and equalize them?
A lot of the clients that we have are people who are, like Laine just described, maybe they have a hydro, so they like to row a little bit, but they come from a cycling background or they come from a running background. So what is the ideal week? I like to run, I like to lift, and I like to take boxing classes, put together what I can do. So that's like one element. The one-on-one component that we have is my favorite because you book a time. It's, more or less a training session that you're doing with this person. I have one client who really liked to run. He needed to take a little break. He's like, what about elliptical? I was like, love it. So we hop on the elliptical for 40 minutes, then do strength after that. So it not only lets me get like a little workout in, forces me to stay on back to that training schedule. But people, we definitely have because of who we are on Hydrow, people come to us wanting to utilize their Hydrow or another connected fitness machine that they may have. Or, and I like to swim and I go to the pool twice a week. Can you put together a plan that works for me? So I really like thinking about my own life of, I don't just do one thing all the time every day. This person likes to do this, and we got to, Thursdays is their really, really busy day at work, but they have a dog, so let's just make that the 45-minute dog walk day, and that's their active recovery and whatever it is.
And
so
you kind of track that with them, or you have some kind of database?
We basically put it together, the plan. It really depends on the level of interest from the client of like, I use Strava, or I use Garmin. Can I send you these? Can I upload these? So we can really dive into the heart rate element of it. Or this particular workout, or the past month, I probably had 6 or 7 clients that wanted to gear up for some race on the machine that they had at home because of the atmosphere of fall racing. So that was fun to kind of change that. 2 months, 8 weeks, 10 weeks leading up to that. Summer's always different.
Yeah, but we basically act as the liaison between like a coach and then a workout buddy.
Okay.
So the one-on-one elements are like we can work out with them, or we can go over form, whether it's rowing, running, whatever expertise you're involved in, depending on the pro. Or we're writing training plans where we're setting up your whole week and taking away the decision fatigue that most people suffer from
I think
every day when you're like, oh, what should I do for workout? And even when you have a connected fitness platform like Hydrow, it's amazing, but sometimes you can be beyond overwhelmed, not sure what to pick, or understanding, the difference between something like a breathe versus a drive and when you need to do those things.
Yeah.
So it's hard to not just go into rowing and not have this background knowledge, and that's where we like to tap in and help with.
Yeah, it's been wild because a lot of people who buy Hydrows have never rowed a day in their life. And rowing is the quote I always use.
I think you brought a lot of people into the sport.
I think so.
Oh,
I think really the sport in general is kind of making a crossover into the realm of fitness because it is such an efficient modality.
Exactly.
I also think that because there's a little bit of a learning curve with rowing, you have to have a little more of technique and understanding that the first couple months, don't worry about your splits. Worry about getting the stroke down and understanding
technique,
power application, and how you are connected by your seat, your feet, and your hands, and how it's not a pulling with your arm sport. It really is a pressing with your legs sport.
I know people say, I don't have any upper body strength.
Right.
It's like,
don't need it.
Yeah. Can you
minimal.
hold yourself in a bar?
Hang on.
Yeah, you can hold yourself.
My coach used to say, pretend your arms are like skeleton.
Yeah. That's good advice.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
So it's been very fun kind of getting to work with Hydrow, obviously traveling, doing the content creating side of making workouts for me fun. And this is what we're going to do. Let's execute it. But I'll tell you some funny, distracting stories along the way, and then really diving in with certain people who are like, I want to make a change to my nutrition. I bought this thing. Help me make the most of it. And so it's worked well.
Do you have without getting into what you charge, but are there affordable levels, or do you have different levels of access?
We have if you're working with our nutritionist and you're working with one of the pros, it can definitely get up there in hundreds of dollars a month. If you're someone who I just need you to look at my form. Short and sweet session that we have with, James Dietz, Buffy Williams, Sarah Moon, Laine, myself. A lot of the Hydrow athletes are on it, so you can kind of use it if you like that person or you resonate with that person more, connect with that person more. Can you I really like when you said this or you explained this. Can you look at my form and see what that is?
But even
those are $40.
Yeah, the short and sweet sessions, it's always a conversation, which is nice because the pro handles the pricing. So anytime someone reaches out, that's the beauty of the platform is that you reach out to the pro, you get access to the pro, and then you have a conversation about budget, because I know it's hard. It's a challenging time. So I have some clients that I have to work with in different areas to make it work for certain budgets. And, it's the most rewarding work because you get close to people and you develop a relationship and you see them.
And they feel good when they're more fit.
When they have someone to talk to about it, sometimes
such a value add to your life.
It's lonely working out sometimes. So
I've been really busy lately, so I haven't been able to, I have been able to work out, but I haven't worked out.
Yeah, and people feel so guilty, and it's I want to just bust that,
And for someone who always
streak.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I know that is the worst.
It's okay. That's the thing about streaks is you got to restart them at some point, right?
I know.
It's like Duolingo. I always lose my streak.
Yeah, I know. But my Garmin watch is now telling me I'm detraining.
I didn't even know they could do that.
I just had the stress test.
Rude.
Yeah, it is rude.
Excuse me.
You're like, come on.
It tells me when I haven't slept.
That's an attack.
Yeah. I think it's important to take that time though, and a month, maybe 2 months, and just relax.
Find
Go for walks, roll out, hydrate well, focus on a little more mental. Don't worry about working out. Then get back into a little more routine. It's what professional athletes do. There's a season, there's the off season, and their off season is typically much different than training every day. So
I remember Mike had one 10-minute session. Maybe you remember this, Mike Dostal.
Yeah.
And it was just so inspiring because he said, if this is all you can do this week,
great.
Do it. Just do it.
Great.
Just sit down, do it. It was really. I remember that. Just so strong.
And I love Mike because he's a dad of 2. He, him and his wife, what they've been able to go through, and he was a master. He had one of 5 master scuba diving engineering license certifications to work for the state of Massachusetts before he came to Hydrow. So what he's done before is really interesting.
So impressive.
And my point is he's so relatable to a lot of people talking about kids. And it's like you said, if this is all you're doing this week, just enjoy this. Just don't judge yourself. Just do this. So.
And I've done so many times, I've just sat down and done the 10 minutes and then it's like,
you're done.
Or
I could do another 10.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's all about
warm up, so you don't have to.
Right. Or look at the leaderboard or anything. So.
I know. I finally shut off the leaderboard. I was doing pretty well for a while. But,
And it's whatever floats your boat, right? Pun intended. Like if you like the leaderboard, put it on. If you don't,
if you're looking to test yourself that day,
Well, so great. Yeah. So the last thing I want to talk to you about is your love story.
Yay.
You barf.
I literally was so excited. I got this. My sister bought me this Mrs. Karwoski shirt, and I was in the laundry room with Nick's dad, and I was like, "Bear, look!" And he's like, "Ew, barf, gross." He just walks out. I was like, "All right, sweet." Like I'm on the same page.
Wait till you have kids.
I know.
Right?
They see those.
I know, and they already have grandkids. They're like, this is old news. Like, my parents, on the other hand, are total opposite.
But you met.
We met in spring of 2019 in Miami. Laine had an interview down in Miami, and she got the job, and she said no.
I said no. I was like, I am not doing this.
This was the weirdest dinner ever. I'm not doing this. I don't know who you guys are.
Who was there, Bruce?
No, it was Justin, our chief coach at the time.
No, seriously, I just had to preface this with I was told I was going to have like a very intimate, small dinner, getting to know just like the coach at the time who was like helping with rowing, and Grace, who is still with us then. And it ended up being the entire team because Justin told them they would get a free meal.
Oh, you told us a free meal?
Yeah.
We were in.
And they're all in
I was so sick, and I was like, but it's a free meal. I'm coming.
They're all in sweats. I am dressed up in business attire and heels. They make me play a video game. I was like, this is my worst. A video game, like a snowboard.
1080 snowboarding video game that you have to get on the board.
Whoa.
I saw her going on. I was like,
this is my nightmare.
We are not dressed similar at all.
Yeah, and I did the test shoot, whatever, like fast forward. No, and then we became really good friends. Like I remember the first time we rode together was his birthday, and he was turning 31, and I was like, oh my God, and he offered to give me a ride to work.
We both lived in Beacon Hill.
And I was like, I feel so bad. Like I don't have nothing for you. So I Venmo'd him $31, and I was like, oh, have a drink on me. And then linking back, I'm like, that's so weird. Why did I do that?
It was cute. It was very cute.
Yeah.
And then she wanted to get her scuba certification. Second time I mentioned scuba, but she wanted to get her scuba certification, and she asked me if I wanted to do it in Miami, and I was like, oh, Sure, yeah, I'll do it.
And I was surprised. Like, I was like, I'm going. But
and we went, we got it, and then we had this Super Bowl party down in Miami that we started dancing a little bit. And
Snoop Dogg.
She was just a very fun, down for anything person. And obviously, traveling as much as we did, we kind of, and then we literally just started dating a month before COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so it kind of accelerated some of the things as far
as,
well, we like hanging out with each other, and we might as well keep hanging out.
You're kind of in my circle now.
Yeah, so the glimmer just started happening before.
Yeah, and I think, like, when you start a relationship on friendship, like, we knew each other so well prior. Like, we did everything that's, like, you would do if you were dating, except the kissing, right? Or like whatever, the physical part. I didn't mean to say it like that.
The kissing.
The kissing.
Nice.
The cuddling.
Yeah, but we like went to dinners. We worked out together. We,
random movies.
We were similar.
You saw things about each other.
We actually
that were not all perfect. Right?
Oh, for sure. We actually talked very much in detail about the people we were dating and how like we would never date anyone we worked with and this guy and this guy, and I was like, yeah, this girl that it was just very funny then Pete Donahoe ended up marrying us. So it was like he is now. He is an officiant now. So
he was an officiant for a day. If you want him for your next wedding, you will have to get another license. I do have to say that.
Just wondering how, I mean, I've seen all your photos and stuff. Are you okay with that being all sort of public? Yeah. Is there any weirdness about it?
Not at all. I mean, even today, someone just gave us a card and a gift. And it's just like it's been just so sweet. Everyone's support and love, like nothing I ever expected, but everything that we appreciate because, when you're going through a milestone in life like this, it's very, it's close and dear to your heart. But when people know you and you get to know them and they share that love for you, it's very special.
Well, it came across as very genuine and very joyous. Good. It's just beautiful.
We started our relationship at Hydrow, and obviously we have this cool element with Tagalong to be able to connect with people on like, what are you really looking for?
Right.
And for Laine and I to be on camera, talking to each other with words, and then like with how we're saying it to each other if we were in the middle of an argument or something that had to go to work, to be able to share that with people through social, to have people come up and say for the past year, congrats. It felt very natural and normal to be able to share our story with the community of as much or as little as they wanted to get involved. And I think Hydrow did a great job with like, how comfortable are you with this, and respected those boundaries. And we were like, we're good. Like we will tell you if it becomes too much.
I honestly loved the advice. So many people gave me so many advice on like what to do, what to like make sure you like remember on wedding day. Because I was like, yes, it's like my first wedding.
You're gonna have so many great pictures and memories.
I'm
we have in our bedroom. We have this photo of Mount Fuji. This beautiful clear day of Mount Fuji, and Laine and I in singles, oars kind of touching, and Jimmy Ahern, our camera operator, took this photo, and it's stunning. And it's like, how many people get to row with their now wife in the Lake Kawaguchi in Japan? Like it was what Hydrow has done for us is unbelievable, and it's cool to see what will happen with it. And I'm so thankful for it. Yeah. We've had people go places being like, because of Hydrow, my husband and I, or my wife and I, went to this place, and they take a picture of, like Owen was doing yoga, and she put on her yellow shirt because Owen had a yellow shirt on, and
so great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, you've inspired a lot of people, and I really appreciate having you stop by and
thank you.
Oh, thanks for inviting us.
You're a huge part of our Hydrow community,
so
it wouldn't be right without Charlotte.
You were there from the very beginning, even before Hydrow. That's your eyes. So.
And I love my Hydrow, so
I
might do a little motivational subscription.
There we go. Get into it here.
Let's go.
Yeah. What do you like to do? How can we remove the decision-making process for you?
Thank you so much.
All
right. Well,
thanks, Charlotte. This has been a blast.
Appreciate you. appreciate your
Have
time.
a great hike
Head of the Charles.
Out of the Charles weekend, baby.
It looks, the rain's starting to come down,
It's
but
happening.
this is a nice situation here.
Yeah.